Hello there. Welcome back to another episode of Unspoken Reality Podcast. And in this episode, we are going to talk about opportunities that are there for the youth. Though I know the question that we normally ask, we know most people normally say that there are a lot of opportunities out there, but the question that you are asking as the youth is, where are these opportunities? Right? So I'm recording this episode just in that time whereby the finance bill has been passed. It's now a law. And if we might not at this point in time really get the impact of this finance bill. For most of us, that is because we are at that point in time whereby we are not fending for ourselves. We are still depending on our parents. I'd say this is for the most of the youth population that are still students. You're still depending on your parents, or you're depending on help. You're not in that working category whereby you actually know where the thorn pricks. Yeah, hatujui penye kiatu inafinya because we are not there. To some extent we feel it when we go to the supermarkets, to the shops, to the eateries, to buy stuff from the money that has been given to us. To an extent we feel the impact, but not that impact that is felt by those people that are working and getting money for their own expenses, for their survival, for food, for clothing, for rent, and whatnot. We cannot really compare, but I'd urge you to perhaps go and read this finance bill. Just try to wrap your head around the whole idea. What is it about? What is it talking about? And from what I've heard, I've not really gotten into the details of it. I've read just a small bit, a small chunk of it. But from what I've heard, there's a portion of it that is good. It's beneficiary for a business owner, and a large extent, though, the addition of all the tax and whatnot, it's not quite. So I'd urge you to go and read for yourself, be informed, know what's happening around the country, and get to know how it affects you as a youth. Right. So in today's episode, I want to talk about the opportunities that are there, and to answer the question, like, where are these opportunities? Ziko wapi? I know we all want that moment whereby we can get something for our own and say hapa ni wapi, the hapa ni wapi moment. But I am among the few people that had that good relationship with a math teacher. Manze mpende walimu wa maths. Yeah, what can we do without them? These teachers that take our PE lessons. They take the Kiswahili lessons, the CRE lessons to finish the syllabus. Yeah. Leo tuko nyuma ya syllabus, so nimeambia mwalimu wenu wa PE anisaidie lesson kidogo tusukume syllabus mbele. Tough times. So yeah, opportunities. I've been privileged the past 1 week to be in attendance of the Youth Energy Summit at the KICC, and I can say I've really benefited a lot. I've gained a lot from all the interactions I've had with people there, the students that were a part of the event, but majorly the stakeholders in the energy sector, the kingpins, I can say, the KenGen, KPLC, talk of people that are really having innovations in the energy sector across Africa and globally. So out of all that interactions, I've been really challenged, right, with how you network, how you place yourself, how you put yourself out there as a youth, and how you try to get yourself a seat at the table. So where are these opportunities? How do you identify an opportunity when it's presented to you? In the previous episode, one of the snippets that I talked about is trying to change that mentality whereby we are just going to schools to get employment thereafter. We should adopt that mentality whereby you are going to school, you are learning something so that you can create job opportunities after you've graduated. And that's the question, or rather the idea that we need to adopt, that I'm going to school and to find out the kind of a job opportunity that I'm going to create, not to find out the employment sector that you're going to be employed at or in. So there was this panel discussion, and the panelists were asked by the moderator, do you have companies, or rather, do you have opportunities for the youth whereby you can just take one youth and tell them, this is what we are doing in my company and I want you to come on board? And the answer that was given was not really straightforward, that this is what I do, etc., etc. So the opportunities that I have are for this number of youth. No, the answer wasn't as straightforward as such. And how I interpreted it was that these people that we are expecting them to employ us don't actually know exactly what it is that they want from us. Most of the time is because we have nothing to offer. So their perception is, if I bring this person on board, hana kitu ya kunisaidia. And you know, businesses, companies are all about profit making. So how they are looking at it is, how are you going to contribute to the profit margin? And so they actually don't have a reason as to why they should bring you on board as a youth. We should stop being entitled to jobs because we think, because we have a degree. That is not a leeway, or rather a pathway to getting a job. A degree, it's nothing. It's nothing once you've attained it. And so these opportunities that I'm talking about today, they are there, but they are not going to be handed over to us. Based on how this question was answered, it's for you to identify now. For example, you've just gone to a company. It's for you to identify the opportunity is there, and you present yourself as the person that is going to take this opportunity. If it's a problem, present yourself as the person that's going to solve this problem, right? So out of all this interaction that I had in that past 1 week summit, I had that opportunity to identify the kinds of networking that you're supposed to do or to make to place yourself out there. And also, I was able to just identify some of the gaps that we have as the youth and as students, right? So before I get into that, just to paint a picture for you of how opportunities come in the most challenging of ways, in the most minute places that we might not even realize or expect, is I want you to understand that most of the time opportunities present themselves as problems. And if you are in the position to solve that problem, then well and good for you. You have been able to capture that opportunity and use it for your own benefit. Most of the times we don't. We don't understand, we are not able to interpret. We are actually trying to wait upon the time when we'll be lucky. And luck actually is a concept that is packaged inside an opportunity. You cannot find luck existing by its own. It's normally wrapped in opportunities, and it's up to you as a youth, as a student, as a young person to identify these opportunities. And most of the times you will find that the luck is trapped inside this opportunity. So there was this book that I was reading a month ago called The Richest Man in Babylon. I'd highly recommend this book to any person out there that is struggling financially, or you want to place yourself to get that financial freedom in the near future. So there is this story of a merchant that trades camels, horses, sheep, and goats. So he had gone for a 10-day journey to look for camels. He did not find them, so when he was going back to the city, he found out that the gates of the city was locked. It was late in the night, so the gates were shut. And so they decided to pitch a tent outside the city gates, the city of Babylon. And at the same time, there was also this farmer with a fleet of sheep. Is it fleet really? A herd, maybe. The animal, the sheep. There were several, and also he was locked out of the city because it was late. And so they also pitched their tent right there. And this farmer was able to know that this merchant was a buyer, and he offered him a proposition. He gave him a proposition. He said, I have this sheep, and there was 900 or so thereabout. And he gave him a good offer. A price, the price was a bit reduced because at the time that he was selling it was at the night time, and this farmer needed actually the cash because he wanted to attend to the sick wife. So akaambia this merchant that I have this sheep and I want you to take them. So this merchant saw the sheep and they were good. Though there were several, he was not able to count them because it was dark in the night and the sheep also were hungry, those sort of stuff. So this farmer told the merchant, did not want to pay. They had agreed on the price, but he did not want to pay the price for the sheep because he was not able to count as it was dark. Akamweleza that I will pay you in the morning after kumekucha when I am able to count all of the sheep to ascertain that is the number in which you understand, right? So this farmer tells him, unaweza nilipa tu even if it's 2/3 of the price, and in the morning nitakuachia one of my best slaves to count the sheep, my intelligent slave to count the sheep with you in the morning, and then you can give him 1/3 of the price, the remaining amount, and then he will bring it to me. This merchant refused. So when the morning came and the city gates were opened, 4 buyers came. And these 4 buyers were very eager to buy the sheep at thrice the price that was offered to this merchant, because the city was being threatened to undergo a siege and the food was not that plentiful. So this farmer ended up selling the sheep at thrice the price that was offered to the merchant. And this merchant missed an opportunity. So hereby, it brings about another concept called procrastination. And in this book, a procrastinator is defined as a person that does not accept opportunity when it comes. So here the merchant lost. So my point being, we as the youth, we are supposed to have that high acumen to understand opportunities when they are presented to us. And most of the time, as I've just said, opportunities come in the form of problems. So just to answer the question of the podcast of today, where these opportunities are, they are in problems. And as a developing country, that means we have not reached the status of the superpowers, the so-called, the developed nations. That means that the problems that are there to solve are quite many. Take a look at the food sector. We are talking of food shortages in the country, lack of quality education, talk of renewable energy. The problems are many. Come up with a solution to it and then monetize that solution. So I want you to think along those lines. What problem is there for you to solve, not what sector is there that can employ you, right? So several key things that I learned here in the conference that I attended last week was, how do you present yourself? How do you package yourself to these companies? That self-image. And it's quite important for you to have that professional profile whereby you have attained several accolades. You can say your resume, and LinkedIn offers that opportunity for you to present yourself in a professional manner. Another thing is intentionality. When you approach a company, be intentional about it. Let's say this is the place whereby you want to work in the near future. Yeah, I know this contradicts what I said before, packaging yourself to be able to solve problems, not necessarily being employed, but you have to start from somewhere. So being intentional that this is the company that I want to work for, and this is where I want to work for exactly in that company. And then lastly, it's value. What value are you bringing to the table? Expertise. You should be an expert at something. And at this period, the age of 20 to 30 years, I believe this is the period whereby you're supposed to harness all your energy that you have as a youth to try to gain that expertise and skills, to be able to now channel these skills towards solving a certain problem or serving a certain need. So Now that brings me to how you now network, how you get connections with these big companies. How do you approach them? Assuming you are in a room full of CEOs or full of people that you admire, maybe your mentors, people that are working in these big companies, and you have been given that privilege to talk to these people. How do you network with them? How do you attain that connection? There are three key things that I learned you can approach companies with. And the first one, this is what you're bringing to the table, right? You are a graduate, just recently graduate, and you're looking for a job opportunity. You want to be employed. Now you have identified the company that you want to work for. Here, it is important for you to have that knowledge of what it is that you learned in school so that you can be able to present yourself in that regard and say that I am passionate about this area and this area, and I've seen that your company offers, and I'd really be glad to be a part of you as an intern. Get that connection, start your internship, and then work your way up. An added advantage here is also when you have a certain skill in what it is that you learned. Let's say your course was offering an additional unit in, is it IT, is it programming, talk of graphics design and whatnot. Be an expert in that area. The second one would be trying to network now in an objective kind of manner, whereby you're strategic in what it is that you want. This one is very beneficiary for those people that have organizations, you've started a foundation, or you're a startup per se, you're a business owner. So here, you have a specific networking goal. You want partnership, or most of the time you want funding. And here you really need to know your craft. You need to know why it is that that organization of yours exists in the first place. Are you trying to solve an humanitarian crisis? Or are you making a certain impact in the world per se? So you can approach these companies in that regard, whereby you know what it is that you're doing and you know what you need. Right. The last one now, and I'd really advocate for all of us, or rather for most of us that are students, to try this type of networking. I assume that at this point in time, where you're still in your 4 years, 5 years of learning, depending on whatever course it is that you're learning, you don't have that expert. You can't call yourself an expert in something. So how you approach this kind of networking, you have approached a company and you ask them now the questions. In the area of your expertise, in what you're offering, do you have any challenges? And once they give you that, make sure you have exchanged contacts. I believe in here still you have identified that this company, maybe it's related to the course that you're studying, but you're not an expert, right? So they have given you the challenges that they are facing in their companies. And I would like you to go and learn how you can solve these challenges. And after you've done that, come up with a proposition, come up with a proposal, and say, this is what I have. I can solve the challenges that you presented to me in this way, whatever way that you have found out. And place yourself in such a way that you can be employed by that company after you graduate. Here, I'll assume that you have time still to go and figure out how you're going to come on board and solve this company. Yeah, you have now had that time to go and gain that skill that is needed here. So the opportunities here that are presented in this modern world are packaged differently. No one will tell you that's an opportunity, go and grab it. It's up to you to identify it. Identify problems, solve them. But above all, one key take home that I want you to have is this: be an expert in something. Know something aside from what is taught in class. Know something that I don't. And be an expert at it. Such that when people are looking for your services, people are looking for that such kind of service, they don't go to someone else, like you're the only option there is. Right? So find that time to learn skills, Be able to forecast. Try to find the trends. Where is the trajectory of the world in regard to business, education, talk of agriculture, the economy? Where are we headed? Where are the gaps? And what solutions can you bring to the table? So put yourself out there. Find out these opportunities. Attend conferences, attend seminars. Network not only vertically, not only with people that are up there, but also network with your friends, your classmates, those people that you're studying the same course with or in the same school. Try to understand this different perspective, and once you have merged them, you're going to be a superpower. You're going to be a force to be reckoned with. So, amidst all the crises that you're facing as a country, I pray that you find the solution. And I pray that you set yourself up there. And once you've done that, as I like to say, be that change. Lift the people that you left when you are on your way up. Come back and be an impact. Give back. Right, so that's the episode for this week. I will try my best to be consistent. I am in that position where I'm doing a lot of things, but that's not an excuse. So I'm looking forward to this kind of interactions. Drop your feedback. You can reach us at unspokenreality.ke@gmail.com, or you can just drop a comment section on YouTube, and feel free to reach out. Let us continue these interactions, and let's look forward to a prosperous country, a prosperous life ahead of us. So I wish you a blessed week ahead. Shalom.